Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Oh, man, you're going to love this story. Pennsylvania Planned Parenthood clinic thinks that Disney should have a princess who's had an abortion. They want to put that into their library of admirable women like Belle or Mulan or Pocahontas, etc. So here are the details. Pennsylvania's Office of Planned Parenthood tweeted The View on Tuesday and was apparently met with some pushback. According to the Wrap, the tweet was deleted just hours after it appeared. Planned Parenthood, other brilliant suggestions for Disney princesses include princesses who are, quote, pro-choice. They want an undocumented immigrant princess and a union worker and a trans princess. Now, welcome everybody. Glad you guys are here. Kevin Jackson, who you're listening to, The Kevin Jackson Show. See, this is what I don't like about the liberal agenda. It wants to remove feminism and the femininity of women and replace it with feminist activities, feminist ideals and views. What's wrong with having a princess who is undefiled, who is essentially pristine and pure? Isn't that what it was about? The object of purity and sanctity. That's what these princesses are built on. Let me put it to you this way. Stormy Daniels is never going to be a princess in anybody's eyes. I'm not casting aspersions on her, but if you marry Stormy Daniels and you want her in a white dress, well, you're just for shiggles. Because once you marry Stormy Daniels, you understand what you're getting. You're not getting a princess. You're getting a porn star. It's okay. Even I will tell you, conservative guys, if your son comes home and he's got a girl who's, of ill repute, as they say, if she loves your son or your daughter and wants to treat him really nicely and all that, and has, gone away from whatever that lifestyle or what have you, embrace it. I know that sounds weird, and it's tough to do because who do you want for your kids? You want your kids with well-adjusted people. You want your kids with somebody who had two parents who were adjusted, who had a family life that was, quote, normal. Trust me, that's getting tougher and tougher to find these days. If you raise your kids normal, it's going to be very slim pickings for them. But we also live in a world where we can help people understand their pathologies and what their issues are. We are all redeemable. And I'm not going to tell somebody, don't choose somebody because they've had a rough life. People choose different circumstances. Now, I will tell you this. If you choose Stormy Daniels at the age of 17, a girl who would leave a job, a menial job, a regular job under the name of Stephanie Richards or whatever her name was, Clifford's rather, and then you go to a strip club and do the amateur night and decide that's what the course of life you want. If your son picks that type of a person, he's going to have a rough life with her. It's just the truth. If your son picks I'll use me as an example. If your daughter, I'll use me as an example with your daughter. If your daughter picked the little kid who grew up, whose father, mom left his father because he was a terrible person, and then she later dies and he gets no help, you're dealing with somebody who's got issues. I'm using me as an example. A kid who doesn't know how to quite feel, who has to learn how to get in touch with himself. Just being blunt, your daughter needs somebody who, now I was lucky because I got raised by my grandparents who gave me a very normal, loving husband-wife relationship. But it was my grandparents, and I still was dealing with these unresolved issues of my parents, of my mother. So luckily for me, my grandparents did give me some semblance of normalcy, and that's why I'm not off the deep end. But had I not had that, had I gone into foster care and a bunch of other stuff, keep your daughter away from me. I wouldn't know how to handle relationships. What good parenting does is it teaches a child how to look at a relationship and be able to deal with the ups and downs and understand it. That's what you're looking for. But the left, they don't want that. They, instead of telling your daughters and your sons about life in general and what's going to make life easier versus what's going to make it hard. Life's going to be hard no matter what. The question is it going to be super hard or is it going to be hard? Those are your in-betweens. Now, occasionally life's going to be good and it'll balance out the rough spots, but it's either going to be hard or it's going to be unbearable, and you can make it unbearable. You can choose the wrong people to put in your lives and it will make it unbearable. It's just the truth. And so what the left wants to do by saying, hey, let's have a prostitute princess. I mean, that's essentially what they're saying. You know, if you can have a princess who had an abortion, well, why not? What limits should we put on this princess? And while we're at it, why don't we redefine what a princess is? Because every dad goes, oh, my little girl, she's my little princess who, by the way, has abortions. Yeah, that's what every dad does. He's doting on his abortion-having princess. Why don't we create abortion Barbie? You know, and even better, let the girl deliver it. You know, be a doctor and take the forceps and pull the baby out by pieces. Let them do that. And why don't we have executioner Barbie or executioner Ken? You know, well, I mean, if we're going to go this route, let's just go all the way. How about we just get rid of everything that represents good? Huh? How about that, leftists? Would you be pleased then? So you could raise your kids to say, oh, disregard God, disregard purity, disregard the sanctity of marriage and all these other things that these square conservatives hold near and dear, because you know what? We can have abortion Barbie and executioner Ken and roadkill Randy and whatever else. I don't know. Come up with whatever you want. And let's just make it a bunch of DC Marvel comics of scumbags. And let's just pretend that there is no good in the world. Unbelievable. And then we'll politicize all this other stuff. A union worker. Really? What? A union worker princess? Let me tell you something. I don't know many princesses that work menial jobs. I don't. And when people talk about making a princess, when parents do it, they're thinking about somebody who lives a charmed life. It's very rare, but we want to believe that it can happen. Oh, and a tranny princess? As I've said before, folks, there is no such thing as a transsexual. There isn't. You can, if you want to live and you want to say I'm a boy and I want to live as a girl, I got no problem with that. But you're not a transsexual. You have not switched sexes, no matter what people tell you. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about, folks. Glad you're here listening to the Kevin Jackson Show.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful four-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.